Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and Journey into Thunder. This is where we talk all things Thor and Thor comics, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you through my experience at Terrificon. So back at the end of 2024 I actually created a little video talking about some different events that I was looking to go to in 2025. So that was a choice between San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, and Terrificon and a few more. I actually chose this year to go to Terrificon. It was a great decision and I'm going to share with you why I had such a great trip over the next kind of few videos. Terrificon. It was held in the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, in a little place called Norwich, and it was over August 8th through to the 10th, so Friday through to the Sunday. Tickets varied between $40 and late $40s dollars per day, but you can pick up 3-day passes and you can pick up a VIP foot pass. I actually picked up for this year and I really enjoyed it. So some of the benefits that you got a t-shirt, badges, and kind of the VIP treatment, should we call it. So you could get in half an hour early on each of the days. You could, you got VIP seating venues for the talks per day. You got one jump the queue on signatures, which I did use on 2 occasions, so I'll show you those later. But they were it was quite good. I got it for myself and my wife who came along with me. I thought it was good value. It was probably an extra $10–15 extra per day, which I thought was quite good. So at this event, there was obviously a huge range of comic guests, artists, writers, and creators. There was also lots of actors from old Superman, Billy Zane, from Titanic, which my wife quite liked. So the comic creators we had were people like Chris Claremont, Walt Simonson, John Romita Jr. and Mark Silvestri, but to name a few. It was a very good selection of different artists. Part of the VIP package, I actually got a t-shirt, so let's jump into that now. There it is, you can see it. It's quite cool, I thought. Didn't wear it, I mainly wore my my normal kind of different attires. So I'm wearing it purely for the video. But so for this Comic-Con, what did I want to achieve from Terrificon? I like to have little goals, so sometimes I go to these events trying to see if what I could try and achieve. So a couple of the big ones was to try and fill up my Journey into Mystery, find a couple of big books on my Journey into Mystery. I like to also find some of my run fillers on Thor Volume 1 and other Thor categories. I also wanted to get some signatures from a few different people like John Romita Jr., Walt Simonson, and a couple of others, Scotty Young. I wanted to try and get a sketch at some stage from maybe a John Romita Jr. or from a Walt Simonson. And I also wanted to go to a few different talks. So I'll share with you how I did in my goals later on. But those were the key ones which I wanted to try and achieve. As you guys probably already know, I live in the UK, so it's a bit of a trip. A little plane ride from London's Heathrow over to New York City, JFK, and then from JFK rental car up to Connecticut area. My cousin actually lives in Connecticut, so actually it's quite a nice one. He lives over in Cheshire, so we could make a nice little family trip of it as well. Myself and my wife went along, so it was a nice little event for us as well, so that then our child stayed at home and we got some nice time to spend away with each other. Obviously, she's obviously heavily supporting me in my hobbies, so I fully appreciate her coming along and enjoying the experience with me as well. So, as I say, took the plane from London to Heathrow on the Thursday morning over to New York. Jumped in a car, stayed over at Saybrook Resort, which is basically a small little harbour resort. Beautiful little place. I actually went for a run on the morning of the Friday. Once we checked out of our hotel, we took a car drive up to Hegan Sun, which is the hotel which it was being held in. A big casino hotel. Actually pretty cool. Really, really nice casino hotel near Norwich, or Norwich, however you want to pronounce it. The event started at 1 o'clock on Friday. So a little bit later, but as we got the VIP passes or foot package, then that basically started at 12:30 for those guys. We arrived probably just before 12 to get into the queue, and it was rammed. We got our badge, very cool little iridescent number. We got a comic book in that package and a couple of other different things, t-shirt, and then went into the show. And as I said at the beginning about having those goals, I wanted to have some goals for Friday as well, so that then at least I knew what I was going into. If I knew now, what I would have done it very differently. But my goals for that Friday were to go and scope out the place, find out where everything is, and also try and find those $1 books. So, and if there were any super cheap big books that I wanted to find, then I'd also pick those up. But main priority was kind of learn where all the creators were that I wanted to go to, then go and find some dollar books, and then see if I can scope out some of the bigger books and maybe come back to them on probably Sunday to then go purchase them. So I had a walk around at these different the different stores, well, different comic booths, and there's a lot of booths available for shopping. So it's probably one of the biggest I've been to. So I've been to MegaCon, huge place MegaCon, but to be honest with you, not so many actual comic vendors. Whereas here there must be 20 plus vendors, all big stock available, everything from Golden Age all the way up to moderns. So it was a really, really good selection. So as soon as we walked in, we found a fantastic array of different types of books. Obviously, I'm looking for Thor stuff mainly. I saw some Dragon Ball Z stuff, which I was very, very tempted by. I also saw a really cool Hobbit book, which I was, again, super tempted by. But the price ranges on them were probably the right price for them, so they weren't super cheap to be picking up for a Friday. So I kind of thought, oh, I'll risk not picking those up and leave them till the Sunday. I then had a further walk around, and then, as I said, I was looking really for dollar books. But if there were any of the bigger keys which I really wanted, or books in the Thor run which I found difficult to find, I picked those up as well. So I went to literally as soon as I walked in, I went to the first vendor and was looking through the Thor books, and so was my wife, and she picked out one book, and I was like, that's something that I've been searching for such a long time, and it's always been very highly priced. And I kind of never really worked out why. I never took it out the bag to have a look. I just saw that it was always battered, and it was the prices on them were crazy. So I thought, oh, I'll have a look at this. Looked really nice at the beginning, so on the front, and I thought, okay, I'll have another look. And I looked at the price, and the price was very cheap, and I thought something's got to be wrong with this. And then I opened it, and I realised why it's expensive or difficult to find in a good grade. And that's because it's a square bound. And there's not too many Thors that are square bound, mainly annuals and those things. But with the square bounds, you generally find that it's very difficult to get away from the staples in the middle coming through. So rather than staples being on the side, because the staples that actually hold the book together, you can see them on the inside. So what I picked up was 193, so Thor 193, and it's a really, really clean copy, and you can't probably see there, but the spine is great, really solid, very nice colours, and I picked it up for a fantastic price. These are normally plus $100. Sometimes maybe at your local shop you might get them for 80, 90. but I couldn't ever find it for less than $100. So when this was advertised at 60, I thought, well, hold on. So I quickly put it back in the thing, and I thought, look, I'm not going to buy anything straight away, so I'll put it back. And then I had a look at 3 other vendors, and they actually had the same book. So 193, so book 193, and all of them were $120 and more. And I thought to myself, I can't miss out on this. So I went straight back, and my wife actually hadn't moved. She was still looking for books for me. Probably one of the best sales assistants I could find, because she basically was always looking for the cheap books. And she was in the dollar end. And she also found a couple of $5 books, which were okay. I mean, sorry, they were very good quality books, but they were probably priced at the right price. And we got a little bit of a bundle together. So got this one and kind of 4 or 5 other books. And I said, do you know what? I'm going to try and bundle this together and see if I can get it a bit cheaper. So I asked for the guy, I said, could I get this plus I think it was 4 other $5 books? And I offered $60. And I thought, and he was like, yeah, fine. And I thought that was the best deal I've ever had. I mean, this mainly due to this book being such a difficult one to find in a decent grade. And this is a nice grade. I have to say, it's really, really nice, and super happy I got it into the collection. Let me know if you've had any experience of trying to find this 193. This has always been one of the hardest ones for me, and I'm so glad I found it. Let me know if you think it's a good price or if you think I've overpaid, but I think I was super happy with this. So after picking up that Thor 193, I then continued to just have a wander around and actually stuck to the task of just scoping out the place, trying to find out where everything was, from Artist Alley through to different vendors. And talks is probably the right word I was looking for, where they're going to be held. So I had a look around. And then I got into comic hunting, looking for those dollar books or those cheaper books. So I had a look around and got some really good deals. So if you guys know already, I kind of love Thor, but I also love Jurassic Park. So I picked up a few different books for a couple of... So these are $1 go. So this is Jurassic Park, the Raptor Attacks. And then this is the Raptor, so 2 slightly different ones. Number 1 and number 2. Number 1 and 2. Then I also got a bundle deal for a tenner. But this is where, unfortunately, sometimes... when you pick things up at different places and you don't log them straight away, comes an issue. So I picked this up. I know it says $10 on here, but I actually picked it up for $5. But you also got a bundle with the Raptor on the back. And as you'll probably noticed, for the quick eyes of you, I picked up from 2 separate shops accidentally. So those were my Jurassic Park pickups. Then my wife found a very good $1 pickup section. So we got Thor. This is kind of probably from the 90s run, Thor number 7. This is John Romita Jr., I believe, and Dan Jurgens run. Yep, which I'm working through. Straczynski run number 7, number 8. No. These are all $1 a go. Number 9 Straczynski run. I haven't read this run, so I'm once I've completed it, which I think I'm 3 or 4 away, then I'll have a read through them. Number 10 Straczynski again, and then my wife picked up this Sleeping Beauty book for $1. She was like, oh well, she's a big Disney fan, so thought that was quite good. And then I also found the full run of Stormbreaker, the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill, and so that's 6 issues at $1 each. So I thought I was pretty happy with that. I did have the first, I think I had issue 2 and 4 or something like that, but to pick the whole run up for $6, I'm pretty happy. So that was another good find. Then I took a little bit of a break because I probably did 2 or 3, no, probably a bit more than that, maybe 6 or 7 different comic vendors. So we took a bit of a break, had some lunch, and then came back to the show, and had a little bit of a walk around to see what was going on. And then my wife asked me what did I want to do on that Friday afternoon. So it was probably about 3 o'clock at this stage. I think it was open till 8, but through jet lag and lots of other reasons, we definitely were not going to be there till 8 o'clock. So we then had a walk around to go see if we could get some signatures. So I got 2 signatures from Walt Simonson. So this is I really enjoyed this Donald Duck run. So with different Donald Duck as Thor, effectively, so part of the Disney sections. So I really enjoyed this, so I thought I'd go and get Walt to sign this. Lovely guy. Had a nice chat with him. So it was a great experience. I got 2. So I got the main one of these on Donald Duck, and then obviously on Beta Ray Bill 337. When I was waiting in the queue, you could clearly see that pretty much everyone had a 337, and they were all getting it signed. So it is the book because of Walt Simonson's main creation, shall we say? The line. So there was 2 line parts to it. So you had the signature line and then the sketch line. So the signatures, the first one was free, and then the second one I think was $10, or I think it's $10 for the second signature. So I got 2, so I spent tenner, and it goes towards his Heroes for I think it's Heroes for Aid or something like that. But it basically goes to the existing comic creators and supporting them at the end of their lives and stuff. So I think it's a really nice charity. Walt Simonson's a big advocate for it, so I think it's a great one. And so happily contribute to that. So there was the signature line, and then there was the sketch line. And actually the signature line, I did actually use so I said before I had on my VIP pass, I get a free signature, or I get a free jump to the front of the queue. So I did that in the Walt Simonson line. It did feel super awkward, I'm not going to lie, because not everyone knows about these VIP things. So when you see a huge line and then you just have this bloke brought to the front, it was quite strange. But I guess that's what you pay for. It happens, unfortunately, in life where you have all these VIPs come up and jump the queue. But I felt awkward with it. My wife was like, "No, you go to the front. Obviously, you're going to use it." So, but anyway, that's probably just me. When I was waiting at the front, I was waiting for Walt to come back, actually, because he'd just been at lunch. And I was having a chat to the different people who were in the sketch line, because I was at the very front of the signature line. There was a sketch line going on, and it was massive. And I kind of thought, oh, I'd love to get a sketch. And I thought, okay, well, I'll probably do that tomorrow or for Sunday. And because it looks like he was quite busy in the sketch line. I think there was a queue of maybe 8 to 10 people, so I probably wasn't going to get one. And the way that it worked was he generally did 5 people per signature, well, 5 people's worth of signatures. Then he did a sketch, and there was no kind of definitive rule to that, but he was marshalling that. So it would almost be like, you come here and then stop, you come. So and that's kind of how it worked. And there was a really, I don't say odd moment, because it's not odd, but as I was quite new, quite excited by the whole process, and I hadn't been to nearly enough sketch queues or sketch lines, to be honest with you, in the past. There was a couple of odd moments where I was standing at the front of the signature, and some person came in and was getting a sketch, and Walt Simonson was taking a while, was enjoying himself, having a chat, and the other people in the sketch line were kind of going, "Oh, hurry up, come on!" And I thought to myself, why are you doing that? But what I loved doing was just watching these artists and creators, doing their work, and I could happily have stood there for an hour just watching Walt Simonson, sketching away and doing different creations. So I found it a bit strange in my head. I know that they probably had lots of other things to get to, and they're probably waiting in the line for long enough already. But I super enjoyed those experiences because you don't see it that often. So it was really cool and really nice to experience watching Walt Simonson do his sketches for different people, not for me, but for different people. So once I got my signature, we kind of then had a further walk around. We hadn't been to all the vendors, so we thought we'd have another look at some of the different vendors. So we did that, and so one of the books which I have been hunting for so long in a nice copy and not an extremely expensive copy is Thor 150, which is the first cover appearance of Hela, and I'd been looking for it for so long. You could sometimes find it cheap online, but I was never really that sure, so I thought I'd just leave it. And I came across a vendor, and I pretty much asked every vendor for certain books every single time, or tell me where the Thor line is, or the Thor area is, or Journey into Mystery, and they would kind of say, look, it's over here, or I've got this issue, I don't have that issue. So I did the same. So asked the guy, oh, do you have Thor 150, which is the first cover appearance of Hela? And pretty much every person said yes, and it was all the prices were $160 or $200, which even for that book is expensive, and they were in decent condition but not like supreme condition. So I finally got to one guy who had some of the most incredible books. I think he had a Batman 1, he had a Journey into Mystery 83, first Iron Man, and so many other different, so many other big first appearances. Lots of Golden Age books. Some really nice Journey into Mystery. Most of the Journey into Mystery I actually already had, so didn't need those. But he did have this Thor 150, and it was priced at $70, which I thought was probably a little bit expensive, or a little on the high side, shall we say. Not super expensive, but just a little on the high side. So I thought, okay, well, I'll throw him an offer. And so I threw him an offer of $50, and I think because we had a bit of a chat going, and I kind of probably gave a bit of a sob story that I was trying to find this book for so long, that he was like, oh yeah, 50's great. So whether I kind of sold myself into it, but I was super happy. And so this is the first cover appearance of Hela. Super clean, Jack Kirby, absolutely beautiful. I think there is another original first appearance in here as well, but the main one you're looking for is really because it's got Hela on it. But yeah, super cool, great book, very clean, nice edges, so many nice things about this one. Great book. I mean, I was ecstatic to get it for $50, so super happy. And then that was pretty much it for the day, to be honest with you. We were knackered. We'd been up super early, been for our run, driven an hour or so, and then so we were pretty knackered. So we thought that was it for the day, and so we went back to our hotel and crashed, and did a few kind of social media posts, just to kind of show what I bought that day. Put this on there, and a couple of other things. So I was super happy with my first day at Terrificon. Such a great convention, and I've got 2 more days, so I'm going to do a couple more videos to show what happened on the Saturday and what happened on the Sunday. Spoiler alert, there are some amazing comic books that I picked up, and there are some very frustrating things that happened. But I'll get into that into more details. If you want to hear about all of that stuff, hit that subscribe button, hit the like. Please comment down below on what you thought of my pickups. If you went to Terrificon, let me know what you thought about it. It'd be really great. If you saw me trying to find these stores, I'd love to hear from you. I do have an Instagram account, so just ping me on Instagram, Journey into Thunder. Follow me on Instagram. It'd be really great. Then we can chat on there. But thank you very much for today. Have a great time. I'll see you in the next video, and have a good day. Cheers. Bye.